All right. Are we actually live? Amazing. My first live stream on the Dod Contract Academy site. And nobody's here, which is amazing. Pretty much what I thought it was going to be here for the first one. But what we're going to do today is talk about the opportunity for government contracting, for defense contracting. So if you're a small business owner, what does defense contracting have to do with you, especially if you don't sell weapons or armor or bullets? A lot of people are actually surprised to find out, first of all, how much money the U.S. government spends on small businesses and the fact that they buy everything. And the Department of Defense is usually the leader in purchases. Now, I focus on helping small businesses sell products and services to the U.S. military. I also train sales teams and people interested in that profession. But what are some of the things you want to think about? So first of all, U.S. military is about people, not about weapons. And what that means is like every single military base around the world is like a little mini city or small town. And so everything that you would need to support that little city or small town needs to be purchased. All the infrastructure, all the buildings need to be upkept, right? Which means we need construction and renovation and plumbing and electricians. And, you know, the bases are actually, if you walk onto them, it's pretty crazy. When I bring someone on for the first time, they look and they see football fields and kids running around and houses. And so golf courses and movie theaters and malls and restaurants. So there's usually a lot of things like landscaping that needs to be taken care of. We have teachers on the base and school supplies that need to be purchased, food, office supplies. If you name it, I guarantee they're buying it. So let's talk a little bit about what some of those numbers look like. First of all, the U.S. government as a whole is the single biggest purchaser of goods and services in the world. DoD is usually the number one agency within that government system that's making purchases. Number two is the government has to buy from small businesses. So the Department of Defense, U.S. military has to buy from you, right? So no matter what you sell, accounting services, you have a law firm, they have to buy from small businesses. 23% of their purchases have to be from small businesses. So roughly $150 billion was spent last year, 2021, on prime contracts for small businesses. Now, I planned on sharing my screen with you, but apparently I need something else in my YouTube live feed in order to do that. So if you know what I have to do as far as something about an encoder, I don't know. I'll have to have someone figure it out for me. But the bottom line is there are some free resources that you can check to see what the government's spending, how much they're spending on the specific thing that you purchase, right? So $150 billion in spending roughly. Then you have last year from the government on small business contracts. Over $80 billion of that was just the U.S. military. And then the military had an additional $50 billion that they spent on subcontract awards with small businesses. So if we think about that, the single biggest purchaser of goods and services in the world, the fact that they have to buy from small businesses, and this is going to blow you away, and this really bothered me as a defense acquisitions officer. Acquisitions is the profession of putting companies on contract for the government. So I was in charge of taking government money and problem sets and figuring out which companies, large and small, could solve those problems. Less than 1% of all small businesses actually even try to sell to the government. And it is a minuscule number. There's over 33 million small businesses in the US at the time of this recording. This is 2022, September 29. 65,000 of those small businesses selling to the US government. I mean, it's astronomical how few small businesses are actually even trying to sell to the government. And the reason is it's complicated. I mean, look, there's no way to sugarcoat this, right? The government works on long timelines and government purchases are regulated, right? So if I want to go out or you want to go out and buy office supplies, you can go to, Staples and buy whatever you want. Right? If you want to go out and buy a car, a larger purchase, you can go out and do that. Same thing with a home, right? And there's some steps you could take, but the government can't buy like that. So I cannot just, as the government, I'm not in the government anymore, but the government cannot go out and just make a purchase because they like the company or because it's convenient for them, right? There are rules that govern all of this. And those rules are contained in thousands of pages of federal acquisitions regulations. And a lot of small businesses just throw their hands up in the air and are like, how do I actually wrap my brain around this, right? There's some websites out there for free that you can get little pieces of information, right? SBA.gov is great. SAM.gov is where you register your business to sell to the government. And you can find like solicitations there, and it can give you some pointers. There's some consultants out there, but everyone kind of, tiptoes around what the real process for a small business is going to be, either because they don't know it, they don't understand it, or because maybe they are afraid that they're going to be stepping on one of the regulations out there. So in the Dod Contract Academy, which is what I run, it's dodcontract.com is where you can find all of our, I say training, we don't sell courses. We sell a membership to our site. You can come in and be part of our community, and you get access to everything, including coaching. But our whole objective is to help small businesses sell to the Department of Defense, U.S. military, and other federal agencies, right? But a big focus on the U.S. military. Now, no matter what you sell, what I intended to do here was to bring up some, like for instance, usaspending.gov, and that's a free website that you can go to start looking at what the government is spending for your small business, right? But if you look at, literally anything, and it blows me away. I was just on a podcast the other day about government contracting for small business. And as we were just searching through some of the contracts, you'd be surprised that the U.S. military, for instance, is spending, millions and millions of dollars on things like social media management with small businesses, right? Facebook Live, contract after contract. We saw government agencies paying somebody to manage their Facebook Live messaging and their branding. And so that might be something that you specialize in, right? YouTube Live. I guarantee you, if we went in there right now, we would, in fact, I don't have to even say that because I've already looked before coming on here. There's YouTube Live contracts. So I can see everything that the government has purchased. And that's one big difference. This is a benefit to you as the small business owner, is that in public sector sales, all of the information is public. You can go out and you can find all of that. I'm starting to wonder here if my microphone is working correctly. So I'm going to cut off this initial stream early because, well, frankly, I can't do exactly what I wanted to here, only to tell you about the opportunity that it does exist. It exists for you. And actually, hold on, I'm going to try one more thing here before I cut it off. I was going to see here, and I wanted to make sure that it had the right microphone. Just know that there's an opportunity out there for you, no matter what your industry is. The U.S. government is buying it. The U.S. military is probably buying most of it. And it's a process selling to them, but it's a process that you can learn. Check out this channel, and you can listen to our podcast too, Dod Contract Academy. It's all free, and that meaning Dod Contract Academy podcast is free. This channel, you can watch anything on here that will be free for you. We interview subject matter experts. We interview businesses that have done great in this field. If you want more information, if you want to join our community, you can go to dodcontract.com. You will have to pay for that, but that's okay. We help people all the time really get those contract awards. It can transform your life. It can transform your business. So we will see you on the next live stream, and take care.